Be ambitious. A lot of people, when they speak about being ambitious, have a negative connotation about it. They often associate ambition with the idea to be cocky or arrogant about doing something. And it's all the opposite. Being ambitious is about looking at things in a big way. And being ambitious is that ability to be motivated to go out there and really make it happen for yourself. Be ambitious, it's that ability to get off of that gray zone, that gray water where you just hang there. And when you tell to yourself, I wish I could be there, but I am too scared to take the step, or I'm not up to it, or I don't think I can do that. And being ambitious is that energy that you get in yourself to think that you can get the best out of everything, the best out of yourself. When I think about ambition, I can help myself to think about the guy who sits in a lazy boy chair, but finally get the awakening and get off out of that ugly chair, burn it, and go out there and finally realize his dreams. And if you stick in that gray zone of life, you neither in a zone where you feel really bad or really good, is that place will keep you rolling over every day to whatever you get, whatever you got used to. Some people are in a really, really bad spot in life, but they're there for so long, then it becomes their new gray zone. And some of the people are in, the top of the world, but they start sleeping in it, and they start getting bored with whatever they get, even if what they get, it's already a lot more than 99% of people. We are creatures of habits. We have to ask ourselves, what are our habits? Are they suiting our lives or desires? And are they enough to make us live life at the fullest possible? We have to ask ourselves, why not? Why not to get the whole piece of the action? Why not to have the best life possible? Why not to get the best out of everything? We always can settle for the little, but the little, is it good enough? Is the little reflecting how we feel about ourselves, or how can we feel the fullest possible about ourselves and realize that and materialize it to have the fullest possible way of living? If your life was a canvas, how would you dare to paint it? How would you dare to choose the size of the canvas? And how would you dare to pick the brightest color and the most amazing tools to create your masterpiece? Human beings are meant to grow. We grow since the little embryo was conceived to whatever we are today. And we have grown from walking to running, from standing and achieving things. And we need to grow. And because growth is what makes us feel good and makes us feel happy. We can set goals in our lives, but what's important is to achieve them. It's the journey to get there who makes you feel happy. Once you get them, once you get there, you enjoy it for the time being, and you need something else to make you feel good. Of course, there is not only the avenue of doing successes in business, and there is in every avenue of life of your being. For instance, you can grow being more spiritual, you can grow being more an achiever at work, you can grow more in a relationship, in your work, in many avenues of life that you have that need. So it's not just in for instance, business or being successful. When you talk about being ambitious, it's to find the ability to find the motivation to get where you want to go. And you know what? You have to be hungry. You have to be hungry and perhaps angry to get the resource that you need to go where you need. People have to prove things to themselves. We all compensate from one thing to another. When you have some emotions who propels you forward, it's fine. Don't do them, don't do the step for the wrong reason. But sometimes some people, it's their anger inside who propels them where they need to go. So all anger are not negative. Now, if you have anger who puts you down and makes you feel bad, that's no good. So, when I speak about anger or other negative emotions, it's okay to have negative emotions once they're not unresolved, once you have made peace with them and you use them for the right, direction in your life, then it's okay. Being motivated and ambitious is to find that desire, that motivation to define what you want, to be active and find the intention to accomplish yourself, to get off of that comfort zone where you're stagnant, where you're not going anywhere. This is how, you need to have a certain clarity to what you want to accomplish, because without that clarity, you won't be having the clear vision of what you want to do. And once you don't have clarity, you cannot be ambitious, because you only can be ambitious when you know what you want. So to make the change, you have to get that energy going within yourself and be ambitious about reaching it. People narrow their focus on reaching somewhere based on what they know today and what they limit themselves, that they couldn't do it or they could do it. So don't limit yourself to what you know today, because tomorrow, once you're going to take the action to go towards something, you're going to learn more. And the more you learn on the process, the more you're going to get the confidence. And since competence is confidence, whatever you learn today, it's like when you went to school, whatever you learned one day and you knew, it was already more than yesterday. And so you were more and more convinced that you were knowing something, toward the end of the year. And the closer you got to the end of the year, you felt that you were getting readier and readier to finish the exams and get that diploma. And if it was not about a diploma, if it was about getting a job done, when you start building a house and you lay the foundation, you have a vague idea of what the house is going to look like. It's all in blueprints and it's in your head and it's in pictures or renderings than the architect has made for you. But as you go and you put more layers of brick, you start seeing the house taking shapes, and then you start thinking about the windows that you're going to put in, the walls that you left. And then once you put the window, you're going to think about the roof, and you're going to think about what you're going to put in the house, and so on and so on. And you know what? The closer you get to the end, the closer you get to your dream, and the quicker you get to having the feeling that you can actually get in your house. And some people, their house is 70% done, and they move in. They move in because they already feel like they want to be there, even if it's not all finished, because they feel like they want to finish it up being already there. So it's the very important thing is to make it very congruent to yourself and go and be ambitious, be so motivated about getting to where you want to go. And when I say the word ambitious, is to be able to look at the big picture, and blow up the picture as big as possible, because how motivating it is to go look for one small thing. It's always more exciting to go after something which is really big, because you can see it in a bigger way, and it makes you feel more convinced. If you were to go pick fruits and you will see only one little stick coming out of the ground with one fruit, it will be quickly done and not be hit. But when you see a huge tree full of fruits, you feel like picking them all and fill up your basket. You're thinking about that your basket is not big enough. So think about the big picture. Think about looking at something in a bigger way, because the bigger the screen is, the bigger your vision is, and the bigger your dream is going to come true. And you know what? Everything is out there for you to build yourself up to the task. You can learn always more. You can always learn more about yourself and more about everything. Life is about experiencing it, and whatever you experience on the outside is only the reflection of yourself. We don't understand who we are inside, because we're always on that motto of being acting along with our behaviors of whatever we have created to ourselves. We act along with it. But you know what? Everything is out there for you to get better, learn more about the person you are, about your abilities, your limitation, what you are able to do. So whatever successes that you have been ambitious to, go backpedal in your mind and think about it, and think about why and how you made it to do what you did. And it can be just a small chore that you did at the house and you were really feeling good about it. And you know what? Put emotions to it. Put emotion back to it. Think about a time, think about a day you were ambitious. Just think about it, and close your eyes and feel, and embrace it and feel how it was in your mind and how you perceived it and how your friends were thinking about you when you were that ambitious, and make it really lively within yourself, and try to go back to get the emotion you had and what you felt about, because this is exactly what you have to duplicate and use it as a template, and once you get the template, you can put it into a sort of a projector and blow up the picture really bigger to be able to take that emotion and make it even bigger than it is. So be ambitious, create what you want with no boundaries, and think about always wanting more, create that more in your mind, because is this goal that you want to achieve, is it big enough for you? But create that mental picture of what you want to be, and magnify it with a magnifying glasses and make it 10 times bigger, 100 times bigger. Fight that impulse to keep you where you are today. When you wake up in the morning and you feel like you want to just roll over in what you do, just shift that attention and move out away from that and go back to the picture that you had created for yourself already. And forget about what you are today, because you have all the ability to be what you want to be tomorrow. So you know what you need to do first? You have to want to be there, and you have to want it. And that's the most important. So, stop the clock, look around, listen, and think of what you want, and make it as bold as possible, and be ambitious to get to there, and be ambitious to dream it big. The bigger the canvas, the bigger the painting. The bigger the painting, the bigger the outcome will be. So, dare to be ambitious, dream big, and take action to make it happen. So, a very important thing is not to limit yourself to your current being, because we all push towards something, but sometimes too many people pull away from something. When you pull away from being miserable, when you pull away from being in a certain spot you don't like to be, you're only going to be able to put that energy so far ahead to feel okay with it. When you try to pull away from somewhere, there is a point where you feel it's enough to be pushing enough from that direction, and you feel that you went enough away from that spot that you're okay. And when you start letting go, that's when you backpedal where you were in the beginning. So it's very important to put your energy toward your goal and see it vividly, because once you see it vividly, you don't feel getting pulled back where you were. You feel being pulled toward your goal and your vision. And that's so important, because that's the main focus on being motivated toward your goal versus away from somewhere that you don't want to be. Your life is only the reflection of what's inside yourself. If you don't have much in life, it shows that you have no appetite about it. If you have a lot of things going on in your life, it seems that, is the reflection of what you're thinking. Of course, a lot of people can have desires and never take the steps to make them come together. But, it's always going to be the mirror image of who you are. So if you don't have much going on in your life, it's because you haven't put an effort to it. You didn't get out of that lazy boy chair to take action and go after what you hope you could be. There is a lot of people who talk down about people who are successful, or people who achieve things in life, or people who have nice things to choose from. And next to it, as they blame these people, they are going to play the lottery. So on one side of themselves they want that, but on the other side they don't have the courage, the belief, and they don't feel good enough to go get it. So they're in conflict with themselves. They are a little bit hypocrite about who they want to be and who they are. So it's very important that you dare to put some goals in your life and think that you can believe into making them happen. You have to feel that energy, almost like a magnet is sucking you to it. If you put a big huge magnet ahead of you and you're wearing a suit with metal, the closest you're going to get to the magnet, the closer you're gonna get attracted to that magnet. And you know, when you take a big magnet and you take a nail and you put the nail, you know, about 10 inches away from it, you don't feel any attraction. But as you roll the nail a little bit closer and closer, suddenly the magnet get attracted, and then he gets sucked into the magnet so quick. And the closer he gets to the magnet, you know, the quicker he gets there. And it's a little bit like, you know, when you try to reach a glass of water on a table, you know, it seems that your hands, once you get started, your hands reach toward the glass, but the closest it gets to the glass, the closer your certainty is there, and you are accelerating that motion to get the glass because you know you're getting it. So when you get the actions to get going, the closer you get to your goal, the closer and the quicker you're gonna get there, because you're gonna get sucked in like the magnet or like the glass of water you were trying to reach. So the power of ambition is gonna define how big you want your outcome to be, and is gonna get you propelled toward making it happen for yourself. So dream big. You have heard that before. Dream big, because when you dream big, big things happen in life.